So, as far as the prayer for understanding the law, and in Psalm 119, verses 25 through 34, this is the letter that's there, and Daleth, which means door or gate. Well, for understanding the law of love, because God is love. His love is so pure, it's consuming fire. Fiery love that sits on the hearth of the fireplace, which is our heart. Well, and the law written on the tables of our heart, God's love. Love fulfilleth the law. Doesn't make it null and void. It fulfills it as a gift, because we're not capable of fulfilling that law, but it was done for us as a gift. So in Psalm 119, my soul cleaveth unto the dust. And remember, when you see a colon, it means it's a list. So I kind of wonder, if you separated it, what it might say, because there's a lot of them in this. But my soul cleaveth unto the dust. Quicken thou me according to thy word. I have declared my ways, and thou hast heard me. Teach me thy statutes. Make me to understand the way of thy precepts. So shall I talk of thy wondrous works. My soul melted for heaviness. Strengthen thou me according unto thy word. Remove from me the way of lying, and grant me thy law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth and judgments. I laid before me. I have stuck unto thy testimonies, O Lord, put me not to shame. I will run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. And I was thinking, when I saw thou shalt enlarge my heart, I was thinking of the Grinch. The devil makes things, but God can use it for his glory. It's whether you see the cup half empty, the cup half full. So in Strong's 1817, Daleth is door, something swinging, the valve of a door. If you ever seen in like the old westerns, they have the double doors, and it's just a little short door, and they swing, and you go through in the middle, rather than opening one single door by either your left side or right side, whichever side the door is on. And that's the door two-leaved, like the doors that open, and that was referred to as a gate. The gate, leaf, or lid. So referring to Psalm 143, 1 through 12, I will spread out my hands to you, is what the context of the verse is. Well, that would be the leaf, your hand, your palms, waving the palms. And that reference is in Strong's 1809. But in 1802, Daleth, to draw, to lift, to fetch, to dangle, to let down, a bucket, to deliver, to let down a bucket, to draw out water out of a well. So in Strong's 1809, Daleth is to be low, to be brought low, to be thin, to be impoverished. And that's where it's talking about where I spread my hands out to you in the context of Psalm 143 on the first part. But to slacken, be feeble, to be oppressed, dry up, be not equal, fail, be empty. We have to be brought to the point of sackcloth and ashes and dust and ashes, and realize it's by God's power and not our own. It's required, because if we don't, you can have pride creep in. That's not a good. Having courage and being bold and having pride are two totally different things. Because pride is about self. where being bold and courageous is like standing for the truth, speaking the truth when it's not popular. Because everybody will speak the truth when it's popular, but it takes a real hero, a real warrior to stand for truth when nobody else is saying it. So doors in the Bible, I was noticing, like in Genesis 19:6, Lot going out of the door into them and shut the door after him. And then in 19:9, the men trying to break the door. And in 10, Lot pulled in and the men shut the door, which I think is just the reference of giving a witness. But in Judges 3:23, Hayud, united, is what the name means. And it's the name of two or three, undivided union, as in 1 Chronicles 8:6. So in Judges 11:31, coming from the doors of his house to meet when he returns in peace from the quality or condition of inbred. So if you think of, inbred being, you marry your brother or sister and you have children, well, that's what Lot's daughters did. Because Lot only had 3 daughters, he didn't have a son to carry on the family name. And that's what that's referring to. In Judges 16:3, Samson, which means sunlight or like the sun. And he's the one who took the doors of the gate of the city and 2 posts and went away with them, bar and all, putting them on his shoulders, and carried them up the hill before Hebron. Well, Hebron is spell, charmer, enchantment, wide, to fascinate, league, heap up, join, self, or join together. And I know there's a lot of people that understand that and how that's going on these days. So in Strong's 1800, pot with a gate mark from the 1800s, because I noticed something, with the pot and the words and the poison being in the pot and the door being the gateway. It's a narrow path to that door. Well, in 1800, it's Deleth. It's poor, weak, lowly, dangling, thin, needy, weaker, lean, humility. And Strong's Greek 2374 that's the Hebrew version, and the Thyra is the Greek version. So it's door, gate, not directly related, but can metaphorically relate to access or lack thereof. God has that narrow path to give you access to him, but you have to take that narrow path to him, because if it was an easy path and you approach the throne of the living God and you are not ordained, just like the priest in the temple of the Holy of Holies of old, it's like you never existed. But the lack thereof would be those who know the truth and they shut up the kingdom. And we're there. So something I guess I can add to this is I saw one talking about obedience versus worship, and how things aren't being directly correlated correctly, I guess is the way to say it. But if you think about it, Obed, which is also Obadiah, and there's a book in the Bible, Obed means serving, and that's in Strong's 5744, obeyed, worshiper, name of 5 Israelites. Obed equals Obadiah, remember Obed with IAH. Obadiah, Obed, OBED, OBAD, and then the IAH. Remember IAH, JAH, JE, JAH. And then what that refers to from the previous video, to keep from anything being an argument. So Obed was a doorkeeper, and that's in 1 Chronicles 26:7, which means to serve or to work. So Obed is a significant person in the Bible, known as the son of Boaz and Ruth. His story is a pivotal, it worked out pretty good, pivotal, on a pivot door, the swinging door, in the lineage of King David, and he's David's grandfather. So in the book of Ruth has his birth as a blessing and continuation of the family line of Lamech and Naomi's deceased husband. And Elimelech means my God is king. Obed's birth was celebrated by the woman in Bethlehem, who acknowledged the restoration and hope he brings to Naomi's life. I'm going to tell you, the Bible being a history book, it's fascinating when you see it as a story to give witness of past history. It's like reading a first-hand account of a bibliography. There's just a lot of bibliographies in there. And his name, meaning serving, reflects the themes of loyalty and devotion. Well, loyalty and devotion, that would be worship. So in Strong's 56:47, abad, which is a reference to Obed, is to work, to serve, labor, worship, till, or plow, enslave, bondman, bond service. So think about, when Jesus said his burden is light, it's not grievous, the gift of God. So father of Jesse, Josiah, Ishai, presence, and there is an existence. Because Jesse, that refers to reference of David. So Boaz is quickness or fleetness, pillar in the front of the temple on the left hand. That was 1 Kings 7:21. And the words Naomi is my delight. Ruth means friendship, and Bethlehem is the house of bread. So when you're reading through these things, these names have meanings that can really carry deeper context to what you're reading. I got the hiccups. And then in Strong's 43:53, Procreates is worshiper or adorner. And then also right beside it, Strong's 43:52 is to worship, to bow down, to prostrate oneself. I go down to, on my knees to, do obedience to, worship. So pros is to, towards, or with. And then kiano is to kiss, a dog licking the hand of the master, to fawn or couch, like a lion couching, dog licking the hand of the master, or to kiss like they would blow a kiss. That's considered worship. Do y'all get this? Because I can tell you, words have many meanings, different depths, different contexts of things. And something I noticed is when people came here, when they were doing something, and we're like, oh, bless your heart. They took it as it meant one thing. But trying to explain, it's the context of how something is said. Not that it's sad, because sometimes you can say, bless your heart, and, you're talking about, well, they're an idiot, they just don't understand, which would kind of be like Peter. And then sometimes it's in context of, you really have empathy for somebody and you want to bless them. Because you're supposed to pray for those who persecute you and bless those who deceitfully use you. There's so much more depth to the culture of, I guess you can say, East Tennessee, because that's mainly where I've heard most of it at. Really makes you wonder about history now, doesn't it? But I just want to try to bring some understanding to what truth really is and how deep this can go. It's not just something superficial that you can see at face value. What you put your time in and concentrate on, that's a form of worship. So hopefully that'll clear some stuff up and we can continue on the different doors, especially like the north, south, east, and west and chambers, because I've been working on a study for that one. That's really coming out pretty interesting. It's just not quite completed, but y'all, we have got to be the example. You know, we're supposed to do good unto those who render us evil, because if we don't, how do they know the love of God?